Hello! Today I'll be teaching you how to make my mother-in-law's favorite recipe for her sons, all three of them, including my husband's, chocolate cake. And she usually makes it on their birthdays. It's pretty simple and it's very delicious. Hope you enjoy it! The first thing I do is I usually put a kilo of hot water to boil, and I wait till that's ready before I start making my cake. And then I lay out the rest of the things on the counter that I'll be using. So this ingredient uses 2 eggs, 2 cups of sugar. Here's my sugar. 1 cup of oil. I like using canola oil. 1 cup of chocolate powder flavor mix. I use Nesquik. You can use any one you like. But this is the one that actually gets the best chocolate color. It hits the right shade. The other thing you're going to need is 3 cups of flour. I just use unbleached all-purpose flour. Doesn't matter which brand. Just make sure it's white for this ingredient. The other thing you will need is 1 tablespoon of baking powder, a dash of salt, so just a little dash, not too much, just to balance the sweet. And you're going to need, like I said, the boiling water. Afterwards, you're going to need 2 cups of boiling water. This is the ingredient for you to make the dough, but for the glaze afterwards, I will show you what you need. After you have completed your cake, for the glaze, you're going to need 1 can of sweetened condensed milk and just, basic chocolate sprinkles. That's it. There are some tools needed for completing this cake, so I have set it out right here. Everything you need is, first thing, I'll start right here, sieves. I have 2 sizes, but you don't have to have 2 sizes, 1 is fine. A mixing spoon, those nice flexible ones, it's good for scooping. I have a cup here, mixing cup, that's 1 cup and 1 tablespoon measuring spoon. And I have my can opener for me to open my condensed milk. And this is Pam for just, non-stick cooking spray for whatever you're going to be baking your cake on. I have my mixer. And right here I have 2 bowls. I have 1 small and 1 bigger one. This is going to be for the eggs, the whites, and this is going to be for the whole cake batter. This is a 1.5 quart, this is a 2.5 quart, doesn't matter how big yours is as long as it fits everything in this one. And then for the condensed milk, the covering that we're going to throw on the cake afterwards, I use a small pan for cooking it in. And I like using a wooden spoon. It doesn't have to be a wooden spoon, just a spoon to mix the sweet condensed milk inside. And that's it for now. So the first thing that you have to do is make sure that you turn on your kettle and have some boiling water ready. And also, I'm going to turn on my oven to 380 and set it. The next step is you want to make sure that you have the dish that you're going to bake on, that you're going to throw some non-stick cooking spray on it. Make sure you get the middle also, bottom, sides, all the way around. And right after that, you set it aside. And what I did here is, remember how there's 2 eggs in this ingredient. I separated the whites from the yolk. So I'm going to set aside the yolk. And with the whites, we're going to beat it with our mixer until it's fluffy white and there's none of that liquid, the yellow liquid on the bottom. So make sure it's nice and fluffy, and that kind of looks like clouds. So pretty much this is what it looks like when it's done. It's nice and fluffy, and it actually picks up on the mixer, and then that should be ready. Now I'm going to set aside all the ingredients that I'm going to have to use to make the batter of the cake, and I'll show you how to do that step next. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is the 2 egg yolks and 2 cups of sugar. I'm going to blend that well. So now what I'm going to do is I set aside that mixture that I just did with the 2 egg yolks and the sugar. I set that aside for a little bit because what I want to do is the chocolate, the 1 cup that you have of chocolate and the 3 cups that I have of flour, I'm going to sift it together. That's why I needed this right here. That's it. What I'm going to do now is I need a spoon for this. It's easier. So I just pick it up. And there's the oven. It's ready. Just beat for me. So I'm just going to sift it. Because this helps take away all the little bumps that flour sometimes has, and it makes the cake more moist. I know it sounds weird, but it actually does make a difference if you sift it. It takes a while, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do full sift of this and then a full sift of chocolate, vice versa, until I'm done. So this is exactly what happens, what I meant by the sifting part. See how the chocolate, especially the chocolate, the flour doesn't do it as much, but it will leave behind all these little like clutters of very thick chocolate that doesn't even get through the sift, so you just want to toss it away. So now that I've sifted together the chocolate powder and the flour, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get just a dash of salt, a little bit more, and the baking powder. What I do is I just mix that in there a little bit. And when I'm completed with this, I will then mix alternatively the oil and some other mixtures, and I'll show you that next. Alright, so now what I have here in front of me is, remember the mixture with the sugar and the egg yolks? I'm going to have my mixer right in front of me. The oil is right here, the 1 cup of oil. This is the mixture of the flour, the salt, the baking powder, and the cocoa, the chocolate mix, right here. And these are my 2 cups of boiling hot water that I just took from my kettle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do half of the oil mixture. And then I don't like too much mess in my kitchen, so I just clean it up. And half of this, because you need to alternate. So I did half and half, and half. And I'm going to mix this all together. When I'm done mixing this, I'll mix the other half. Alright, so there was my first half. I'm going to go ahead and throw in the rest of the mixture halves that I had. In the hot water. Make careful with that. And you notice that it actually starts cooking itself here with the hot water before it even hits the oven. So that's the secret to this cake. So once I'm done alternating between the ingredients and I have this mixture right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get, remember the egg, not the yolk, the whites that we had before. We're going to now put that in here. It's the last thing that you add on to the batter before you put it to bake. And what I do is I will put it on that baking pan that we already added the Pam cooking spray oil, and I'll put it in the oven for about, it won't be less than 40 minutes. But what I do is I'll stick a toothpick in it once it's almost ready to make sure the dough will be completely done. And then I'll show you how to make the last part, which is after you have the whole cake being cooled off, we're going to drizzle it with the chocolate glaze. Okay, ready for baking. So now the next thing that we're going to do after the cake is baked, see how it looks? It rose and it looks nice and fluffy. And I let it cool for, let's say, it's been a half hour maybe, not even. When you're comfortable with picking it up, what you're going to do is you're going to have to transfer it over to whichever cake stand or dish that you're going to put your cake on. So just go around with a knife to make sure that it's unstuck. Once you do that, you get your plate. Hold on, this is the top, and I'm gonna want to slide it over. So what I'm gonna do is, oh, it's a little hot on the bottom still. And that's my nephew in the background, crying for mom. There's always sound effects in the back of my videos. So there it is. Came out nice and clean. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to decorate it on this side, because this is the side I like it on. Alright, so after you have transferred your cake over to the stand that you want, or wherever you want it, you're going to need more chocolate powder, 1 tablespoon of butter, and a sweetened condensed milk. You pour it into the pan that you're going to use. Again, with the chocolate powder, it doesn't really have, I don't have like a portion size for how much I use. What I do is once I'm cooking it, I'll see the color tone, like whichever, like I just want it to look like not as dark as chocolate syrup, but a little bit in between that shade. And then I'm just going to put this on medium to low heat on the stove top, and I'll show you what it should look like when it's almost done and ready. Alright, so see how this mixture is coming out? It's very thick and creamy. Remember, it's condensed milk. So this shade right here I think is a little too light, so I'm just going to add some more powder chocolate to it. And pretty soon this mixture should be ready. Anytime now. Alright, so see how it's bubbling up? And I've been mixing the whole time. That's the one thing I forgot to say in the beginning, is that you have to make sure you mix at all times non-stop, because you don't want it to stick and form a crust. See how it's starting to like unstick from the corners and bubble up? That's a consistency that I want for this recipe. Alright, so my mixture's here. I just took it out of the stovetop. I don't want to wait too long because it can't harden. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to get a knife or a big like toothpick. Just poke some holes in the cake and kind of twist to open it a little bit. Because once I drizzle that chocolate on, some of it will get inside. Make it nice and chocolatey inside. So I'm done with that. Drizzle, drizzle, drizzle. I like to drizzle slowly on the top, and like it gradually falls to the sides and inside also. And I think I made too much to this cake, but never enough chocolate glaze. And the rest I just plop inside. You don't have to make it with the cake with the hole in the middle, like in the dome. Like a bundt cake, you can just make it like a dome, like a complete circle. It looks really pretty for decoration. But in this case, I use the bundt cake pan. Once I'm done with that, remember the chocolate sprinkles? Just sprinkle it on, and it's ready to serve. I like putting a lot in the middle, and then just kind of go around. Nice background noise. Ta-da! I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will try to make this delicious cake, which I'm going to be enjoying myself right now. Thank you. Bye.